everyone, welcome to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts. I keep getting confused with my name. Yeah, so what's with that? I thought I would bring to you today, I did do this, as some of you may have seen, I did do my review of Carve The Mark by Veronica Roth and The Face Divide by Veronica Roth, but I actually made a mistake and put some stuff in there that I shouldn't have, so I'm sorry for that, and hence why I'm re-recording this and redoing this. And I found these pretty fake flowers to use in our review, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to do this review over again. So Carve The Mark by Veronica Roth and The Fates Divide is part of a duology in the, Carve The Mark sequel, and Veronica Roth is actually the author of Divergent, Allegiant, and Insurgent. I think it's Divergent, Insurgent, and then Allegiant in the order. And then also book 4, which is, I think, a series of short stories based around on some of the characters. So Carve The Mark is based on a planet called Thurv. It's a mix of, I guess, sci-fi fantasy for the storyline, and Thurv actually has 2 different types of people on it. It has the Shotet and basically Thurv's people, Theashan, I can't remember their name now for the life of me, and we're based around 2 set families, the Kereseth family, which is Thurvizet, that's it, family, and our Shotet family, the Noavex. So the different people on these countries are actually named after either the types of syllables they have. So Shotet are kind of more like, I guess, sharper sort of names, and then the Thurvizet are normally like softer, sort of more syllable type names. And so our main character is Akos, and her name, we got Akos and Syrah, that's it. So Akos is actually Shotet name, but Syrah is kind of a Kereseth name. Not Kereseth, but Thurvizet name. So, I think it is anyway, from going by it, because we've got other characters, which is like Sissy, Elijah, Ryzek is Syrah's brother. So I kind of, and I don't want to do spoilers, but so there's kind of some crossing between the different cultures here due to something called fates. So the fates are like a fate that is given to certain people at birth. So if you're given a fate, you're part of what is like a fate-filled family, or your family sort of becomes known to be part of the fates, and as a result that kind of, I guess, helps you with certain privileges. It's how the Noavek family came into power, is because they became a fated family. So there's kind of twists and turns between the fates between these families, and what the person's fate's meant to be and what it actually is, which you find out in The Fates Divide. Carve The Mark is based pretty much around Syrah's and Akos' story, but The Fates Divide adds in some parts from Elijah and some from Sissy. You actually saw more of Sissy in The Fates Divide than Elijah. In some ways I kind of wanted to know more about what has happened to Elijah in The Fates Divide, but he didn't actually have that many, shall we say, chapters in it. So we sort of read some things that were based around certain things, but I was kind of hoping to see more insight into his story, but it mostly stuck around Syrah and Akos in this one, but did have a few decent chapters with Sissy, and I really enjoyed reading about her experiences and how she helps with preventing the consequences that happened. I found whilst I was reading this, I was getting very invested in the characters that had a lot going on with them, but I found with Elijah I wasn't able to connect so much to Elijah because there wasn't so much of his storyline in Carve the Mark, in the Fates Divide, I mean. I was kind of hoping to read a lot more about him. Like, I got invested with Sissy as a character, I got invested with Syrah and Akos as characters, and kind of I found I loved this story, and I know there is certain things out there to do with people thinking there's, I'm not sure if it's racist aspects and stuff like that in these books, which I didn't find at all. I found I really loved the books, but I found I wished that I could learn more about the characters. Like, I also loved Tekka, who, I won't spoil it, but basically she became friends with Syrah, and she's in Syrah's storyline a lot in the Fates Divide and a bit in Carve the Mark, and I actually found the characters that they related with more, and there was Yuma, I think there was too. I also enjoyed her story as she became more ingrained with their two main characters. I found the more a character related with our main characters, the more I kind of got attached to them, because I found out more about their backstory and things that had happened to them and how the characters related to them. But I found with Elijah, whilst we did have some bits of that, I found, for me, I wished I could learn more about Elijah, but unfortunately Elijah didn't come much into the main character stories or his own chapters because of the way the story plays out and the characters' relationships with Elijah and just how things work out there. So it was kind of unfortunate in that aspect because I really was wanting to learn more about Elijah, but I guess I was really happy with how the story flowed, how the story went together. I constantly had moments where I sort of closed the book briefly and I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And it was like, for a long time, this is like the third or fourth try I've had recording this, and my mind was just like, I don't know what to say about this story that doesn't spoil things, because I was so like, what just happened? And it was like my brain was still trying to compute exactly what went on in these stories. It's if I would recommend these, the duology of Veronica Roth or not, I would highly recommend it. I really, really loved it and enjoyed it and sped through it. Like, one day I actually read over 200 pages in the one day, which for me, that's a lot of pages. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it. Carve the Mark was provided to me thanks to HarperCollins Australia to review. Veronica Roth was here in September, and I unfortunately didn't get it done before she came, but I've got it done now, and I really did love these. I haven't read the Divergent epilogue, We Can Be Mended, because of the fact I haven't gotten to reading the Divergent books yet. I do own them, but I haven't yet gotten to them, so I want to get to reading the Divergent books before I read the Divergent epilogue. And yeah, I found I really, really enjoyed this book. I didn't see any of the issues I heard someone else on a video talking about. I can't remember exactly what those issues were, but I know it was, the criticism was bad enough that Veronica Roth actually had to put out a comment based around those and say, well, no, that's not the case, but I didn't see it at all. From what I know, Akos is kind of pale-skinned and Sarah is more of a brown-skinned character and a white-skinned family, and Akos is in, I think he's got a different coloured skin to his family too. I'm not sure, I can't remember for sure. But I love the way they had the characters. It is definitely a sci-fi / fantasy based story. There is travel through space and to different planets, and I love the descriptions of the different planets and how sort of we mostly only saw a description of 2 other planets other than Thurv and the Shotet side. So Thurv is sort of snow based and the Shotet side is more warmer on the other side of the equator area. And then we only saw really 2 other we saw a brief description for a 3rd planet. The planets are kind of different types of styles. So Thurv is like snow sort of planet. There's like a hot planet, like desert sort of planet. There's a water planet. There's also I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like a planet that's kind of everything's deadly on it kind of thing, and yet people still live there. And there's different things like that. I can't remember them all. There's also the Assembly, which basically lives in space and is elected by other people. But I don't want to go much into details about those because I don't want to spoil this. I really enjoyed reading this. I pretty much went into it based on a description, and that was it. I guess there could be some bits of dystopian in here with the way people are surviving and living on these different countries. But yeah, I would highly recommend this. I'm glad I went into this and I didn't know about any other criticism. I'm really glad that HarperCollins provided me Carve The Mark to review, and I really appreciate it. I actually went out and bought The Fates Divide whilst I was reading Carve The Mark because I just was loving it so much. So I actually bought this from my local Kmart. And yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this review, and I can't wait to do more reviews. I'm going to be going on to Jackie French's The Last Dingo Summer next, and I started that, and the first prologue left me going, oh my gosh, how can you start a prologue like that? Like, so yeah, I can't wait to go on to that, and yeah, I will see you next time. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and yeah, I will see you next time, and have a good day / evening wherever you are, and I will talk to you later. Bye.